Folks, I'm here today. I'm going to be talking about locusts and how they are beginning to arrive here, and I think they're setting up for swarming. Probably just coming. You can see them all hopping around. Let's see if I can catch one of them that's sitting somewhere where you can look at them. But they're just jumping all over the place, man. There just went one. See them flying. I mean, they're everywhere. And I was hoping that I could get, but they jump around so much, it's kind of hard to get a focus on them. There's one. And they're about an inch or so long, brown. And I mean, I just kind of stumbled onto them, which I've done a video about them here, talking about these in the blessings and the cursings in Deuteronomy chapter 28. And so I want to just kind of do a little quick video about it. I hope y'all kind of could see those hopping around out there. But what I want to bring to mind is that when I done the video on Deuteronomy chapter 28 and the blessings and the cursings, I talked about these locusts and that they were on their way. I had read an article about them over in how it started over in Africa, over there in the north eastern part of Africa. And initially, the initial wave of them there, was in the hundreds of millions. And that sounds like a lot, but when you're talking about insects, it really isn't. They can become way more than that. And they did. By the time they reached India, they were in the hundreds of billions. And then by the time they reached China, they were in the trillions. And they multiply very rapidly. I mean, within 6 weeks, they have like a breeding cycle that goes 6 weeks. And when they're in the swarm mode, it's a exponential breeding. I mean, they'll go from, like, say, hundreds of millions to hundreds of billions, and then the next breeding cycle they go to tens of trillions. And they said in the article that they had made it over to South America and that they were headed north, so that they were headed towards coming this way towards North America. And I believe they've arrived. And the thing about these locusts, this particular type of locust, is that they are by nature normally a solitary creature. They don't gather in mass or anything like that. It's certain conditions that trigger them to swarm, and it's certain weather conditions and stuff that will trigger them. But also Elohim will release these things on you if you're if people are blatantly violating his covenant and his law, and they won't repent, then he will begin to release these plagues on people, and of course this is going to lead to ultimately starvation and stuff. I mean, around the world. I mean, America's been blessed to have a bounty of food. But we see that this blessing has been removed from us. We see what's going on, with the powers that be manipulating the supply chain, plowing under crops, killing off a bunch of the animals, not just here but around the world. These global elitists, and they want to starve people into submission. Well, now this plague is coming, and of course this is a judgment. This is, this ain't by the hand of men. This is by the hand of Elohim, Yahuwah Elohim. And I'm going to go back again to Deuteronomy. Well, actually, I'm going to start in Exodus. we're going to look at what happened to the people in Egypt whenever they would not set the people free when Moses went there, and he told them to go tell the Pharaoh, let my people go, and of course these plagues began. But I'm going to start here in chapter 10 of Exodus, and I'm going to start at verse 12, and I'm going to read through verse 15. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand over the land of Egypt for the locust, that they may come up upon the land of Egypt and eat every herb of the land, even all that the hail hath left. Because they had had a hail before that beat down all the crops and stuff, and then now the locusts are coming to finish it up. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night, and when it was morning, the east wind brought the locust. And the locust went up over all the land of Egypt, and rested in all the coast of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them there were no such locusts as they, neither after them shall be such. Because this was just, it darkened out the sky of so many of them. For they covered the face of the whole earth, so that the land was darkened, and they did eat every herb of the land and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left, and there remained not any green thing in the trees or in the herbs of the field through all the land of Egypt. All right, so you got that, and then we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 here. This goes back to the blessings and the cursings. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 38. Thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. I've got a bunch of other verses here in Psalms, in Joel, and and I'm going to put them in the description for you to go look at. But in the book of Enoch, first Enoch, he talks about Enoch was taken by one of the Malachim around and shown all the things, shown the firmament, showed the whole earth. He was tucked up real high, he could see the whole earth, and he was also taken around, he was shown portals that were in the firmament that allowed wind to come from different directions, and depending on which direction the wind come from, it would either give you rain when you needed it, or it would cause you to have a drought, or cold, or heat, or snow, or rain, different weather. And but there was one of these portals that had locusts in it, and they would be blown in a wind out towards whatever direction where he wanted them to go, and released on man whenever people began to be just completely wicked and in rebellion against him. Then he would begin to release these plagues, and that was one of them. And from what I'm seeing out here, and this is right beside our place here, and pretty much anywhere you walk around in where there's grass and all that, they come, they just hop up out of there and fly off, and bunches of them. And I hadn't been seeing this, because I walk out there to the mailbox and stuff, and 3 weeks ago, I never saw any of them. Because there's so many of them jumped up and was flying off, I noticed it immediately the first time I saw it, which was about a week ago. And I've been seeing an increase in them. There's more and more of them each time. To start out with, I'd seen like 4 or 5 of them fly off, and then, like when I went out there just a while ago, there was dozens of them. And they're probably about that long, and they're brown, and they and I looked them up on Wikipedia, which something like that, they're going to give you the spiel on it, but if it's not something propaganda. But you know, I looked at them on there, and what they, you know, they said that they were normally solitary animal, you know, creatures, and that, but they, you know, if the conditions are right, they swarm. And that's exactly what they're getting ready to do. I believe come this spring, when the growing season, when stuff starts coming up, the temperatures are going to be just right, and they're going to swarm. And they're going to devastate the Midwest of the United States, and everywhere that we grow food at, they're going to just devastate it. And it's because of the wickedness going on here in the United States. I mean, and it's, you know, it's accelerating, you know, and sides are being drawn. I mean, there's people on one side that are, you know, pushing back against this, you know, that they want, you know, righteousness, or want people to do right, but you got one side that is pushing, you know, every kind of wicked thing you can think of, and, you know, abortion and transgender and, you know, LGBTQ and just on and on and on, and all this stuff, and which the, you know, scriptures the Father calls abominations. These things are abominations. And so I wanted to do this just as a quick video. Like I say, I'll put these scriptures in the description box, and wherever you live at, you know, go out and see if you're seeing the same thing. You know, I mean, I don't know that they're everywhere yet, but if they come up from South America and they've arrived here, or they are arriving, I would suspect that people are going to be seeing them everywhere. And then whenever they get amassed up in the right conditions, it will trigger them to swarm, and that's when they will just go on a feeding frenzy. So with that in mind, remember, be like the Bereans. You know, don't believe what I tell you, but, you know, have an open mind. Search the scriptures to see what I'm telling you is true or not. And I love you. You know, may Yahuwah bless you, and keep seeking truth. I'll see you later. Goodbye.